Hello students, welcome to the class. I am Yogita. Our subject is nutrition for nurses, and today we are going to discuss about assessment of nutrition. Now here we are evaluating the health condition of individual. We are assessing their level of the nutritional status. That will help us to understand how good they are, what's their health status, how well they are, and is they are suffering with any kind of nutritional deficiency. Now here mainly we are using two methods in assessment of nutrition: direct methods and indirect methods. Mainly there are two methods, direct and indirect. The direct methods are nutritional anthropometry. Here measuring the anthropometric measurements. Second, clinical examination. Third, biophysical test. And fourth, biochemical test. These four are the direct assessment of nutritional. Nutritional anthropometry, clinical examination, biophysical test, biochemical test. Second type is indirect method. In indirect method, we are going for mainly three types: vital statistics and community, assessment of socio-economic status, and diet survey. Now these three are comes under indirect methods. Okay. Now first, direct method. Let us discuss the direct method. In that, anthropometric measurements. It's a way that we are assessing the nutritional status. In that, we are assessing the height, weight, head circumference, chest circumference, and mid-arm circumference. Now these five components are assessed. Now that will help us to find out whether the particular child or any individual suffering with any kind of nutritional problem, malnutrition, undernourishment, or overnourishment. Now first is height. First we will check with the weight. Now weight means weight is an indicator of your growth. If you're growing, growth of a healthy child is indicated by the weight. Now here, the infant from birth to around 6 months, it weighs around 5 kg. Then 6 months to 1 year, it weighs around 8 kg. 1 to 3 years, 12 kg. 4 to 6 years, 19 kg. 7 to 9 years, 27 kg. 10 to 12 years, 35 kg. Adolescents 13 to 15 years 47 kg, 16 to 18 years 57 kg, and the adult from 18 to 60 years the weight approximates 60 kg. See, this is approximate of count of this weight. Now according to your age, if your weight is suitable, it shows that you are an healthy individual. If you select, for example, if a 10 years old boy, he weighs a weight around 34.5 kg, 35 kg, 35.5 kg. In that case, the that particular child is healthy, do not have any kind of nutritional deficiency. In case the particular 10-year-old child is 25 kg, that means the child is having undernutritional problem, malnourished. If the child weight is 50 kg, that means obesity, overnutrition. That can be considered. This is the way we are assessing the anthropometric measurement. Next is height. In height, according to the age, we are checking for the height. Now in height, that will be a component of your length of your leg, pelvis, spinal cord, and your skull. Now all four components contribute together to make an assessment of your height. Now here, 1 year 80 centimeter, 2 year 90 centimeter, 3 year 100 centimeter, 4 year 104 centimeter, 5 year 113, 6 year 118, 7th year 123, 8th year 127, 9th year 133, 10th year 138, 12th year 148, 13th year 154, 14th year 161, 15th year 165, 16th year 168 centimeters. In centimeter wise, they have given a height calculation. Now, we are selecting a particular child, asking their asking their age, then we are checking their height. Now to check the height, we are using stadiometer. 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 Now that meter is used to assess the height. We'll ask them to stand straight, their back will be straight, their head will be straight, so that we are checking the height. Now that height will indicate us whether that particular child has a normal growth or not. Now for example, 5-year-old child, that height comes around 110, 112 centimeter. That means it is near to 113, the child is having a normal height. So that means child is healthy. Child is well nourished. Okay. Then next is head circumference. Now head circumference is a standard procedure to detect the pathological condition of your brain. Now head circumference is related to mainly to the brain size. It is directly related to your size of your brain. At the birth, head circumference is greater than the chest circumference. So that will be checked at the time of birth. Now later we are checking the chest circumference. Now up to 6 months of age, head circumference is more than this chest circumference. Now later growth of that skull will be very slow, but chest will go rapidly, so that chest circumference will be more than the head circumference. Now here, if we find any deviation in that, there is no sufficient, there will be a lack of chest circumference compared to the head, that chest circumference will be less. That indicates that yes, child is having some kind of malnourishment. That's the reason there is no proper growth, rapid growth in the chest. So that can be detected. One more thing, we are checking mid-arm circumference. Upper arm circumference. When we check it here, that helps us to detect the health condition of particular child, nutritional status. Now here, the upper mid-arm circumference at the birth, the healthy child circumference will be 10 to 11 centimeter. Now increment is detected 3 to 4 centimeter as they grow. Now here, when they go to the preschool, we are able to assess their mid-arm circumference. That will be a difference between, like 1 centimeter excess can be detected. Now, if they are having that normal mid-arm circumference, it indicates that they are healthy. Now, how we can check? When we go to the field in the school, it will be difficult to measure with the tape. A better tool is, we are taking 4 diameter bangle and we are asking them to wear that bangle. When we ask the child to wear that bangle, this is also called bangle method, this 4 diameter bangle is easily passed to the hand and that elbow. That indicates that particular child is malnourished. Particular child is malnourished because the bangle is easy to pass. That means mid-arm circumference is less than that 12 centimeter. That indicates particular child is suffering with the nutritional deficiency disorders. Okay. Now, approximate Indian statistics, if we see, that will be 12 centimeter, but WHO recommends 13 to 14 centimeter. So mainly we can use easily with the help of 4 diameter bangle. Now, next is biophysical methods. Now, what is biophysical methods? Here, biophysical methods, we are using certain tests, so that with the help of that test, we are evaluate what's the status of that particular child health status. Like we can check the blood pressure, we can check the vital signs. For example, we can do a dark adaptation test. It helps us to identify the evaluate the ability to see in a dim light. So that helps us to evaluate any kind of vitamin A deficiency disorder. So such tests are doing to assess biophysical test. Next, biochemical test. That means here we are doing certain tests to evaluate the values. For example, some blood investigation which helps us to detect the hemoglobin level. If the HP is less than 12 in female or 14 in man, that means that indicates they are having anemia. Okay, so this is the way we are doing certain blood investigation to rule out sodium, potassium, or iodine deficiency, iron deficiency. These all things help us to find the deficiency disorders. So, next what we're doing is clinical examination method. Here, when the individual suffering with the nutritional deficiency disorder, definitely they are developing certain kind of symptoms. So, we are trying to evaluate that symptoms. Now, that symptoms help us to find out, to rule out a particular kind of deficiency disorder. Now, for example, if the child is having protein energy malnutrition, they are facing two conditions, kwashiorkor and marasmus. Either they are having edema or muscle wasting. See, the two condition can be detected. We can see the clinical feature which present in the child. If they're having vitamin A deficiency, they're having night blindness, bitter spot, keratomalacia, dry eyes, conjuncted or dry. See, these features can be detected in that particular child. The riboflavin deficiency, they're having angiostomatitis, scoliosis. See, that can be seen. They're having inflammation in their mouth. See, that can be seen. See, clinically we are able to evaluate. Then niacin deficiency, they are having raw tongue, pigmentation in skin. We can see particular child having pigmentation. If they are having fluorosis, dental fluorosis, then discoloration of the teeth can be noticed. See, these all because of deficiency disorders. In clinical examination, we can evaluate, we can see the symptoms, we can assess for the clinical features. Now, if they are having vitamin D deficiency, they are suffering with the rickets, bow leg, pigeon chest, what is that, knock elbow, they are having osteoporosis, they are having pain. See, a child is expressing the symptoms, child is telling the complaints, yeah, I am facing all these problems. Now, if they are having iron deficiency, they are having a pale nail and spooned nail, pale conjunctiva. See, we can check like this. Yes, eyes are very pale. That means you are having deficiency of, you are having that hemoglobin deficiency, iron deficiency, anemia. See, this is called clinical examination. So, all the clinical tests, all the clinical examination help us to rule out that particular signs and symptoms which related to particular disease. So, this is about direct method of nutritional assessment. Direct method, nutritional anthropometry examination, clinical examination, biophysical examination, biochemical examination. I hope you understood. Okay, now let us move to the second type, indirect method of assessing the nutritional. In that, first is vital statistics. Now here this vital statistics is help us to rule out in the community what's the rate of death and disease, mortality rate, morbidity rate, that can be ruled out. Number of death rates, number of disease, infant mortality, child mortality, maternal mortality, or mortality rate of postnatal mothers. These all things are assessed. Now that will give us the count how many rates are there. So because of what they have died, because of which problem they are suffering with the disease conditions, that can be assessed. Now this is called vital statistics. Now this vital statistics gives us the clear idea about particular community. Maybe when you do the assessment, okay, you got infant morbidity rate where most of the infants they are having problems, kwashiorkor. They're having muscle wasting, energy like they're having this lack of protein and weight loss. See, that means I get an history that entire community, most of the children are suffering with kwashiorkor, protein energy malnourishment, malnutrition disease, PEM. Now this is called vital statistics. This is an indirect method of assessing the nutritional status. Next is assessment of socio-economic status. Now, once you assess the socio-economic status of particular community, we are able to assess what will be the nutritional status. If you find very poor people in that area, then definitely they may have a malnourishment, undernutrition they are. They are very poor, they are not able to afford for the food. They are not able to afford to meet the daily requirement of nutrients. One category. Second, they are very rich. They are very rich that they don't find time to eat the healthy food. They're eating junk foods, and because of that, again, they're finding this nutritional problem: overnutrition, obesity, excessive body weight. See, now these two conditions are the nutritional problems. Now, that can be assessed when you make an assessment in your community, in your field, when you detect the socio-economic status of your individual. So that helps us to find out what's the nutritional status. Next is diet survey. That means we are doing certain survey on food what you're eating, that give an idea that what's the status of particular community, what will the nutritional status. What we can do first is food inventories method. In food inventory method, we are making a survey where a large number of people are eating the same type of food. For example, if you take a hostel, orphanage, or any kind of homestays where people are staying together and in a large kitchen food is prepared and same kind of food is served for all. Now this, here we are making a diet survey. Now this survey can be done for 1 week and we are able to assess what will be the nutritional status of particular group. This is called food inventory survey. Next, food expenditure pattern method. Now here we are checking what is the food expenditure, how much money you spent on last month on purchase of food, your groceries, on what you are eating. Now that will help us to identify what type of people are there, like what is the status of particular group, particular community, how much they are spending. If they're spending in a very low cost on food, that means they're not able to afford for all kind of food and not able to meet all the nutritional requirement. If they're spending highly, that means they are going to purchase some food which is not at all nutritious. It may be ready-made food or junk food. Or if they are making an average shopping which include all kind of groceries, all the vegetable and fruits, along with the some kind of some amount of expensive food items like milk, egg, meat. In that case, we are able to assess this particular group is having a healthy diet, so they were having a good nutritional status. So that helps us in food expenditure pattern method. Then diet history. Now in diet history, you are asking a question to them to evaluate what kind of diet they are having. You can ask what you had today, what you had yesterday. You are trying to rule out that history from each and every individual. That give an history, like how will be their diet pattern, how much healthy food they consumed, whether they are on a healthy diet or they are on a unhealthy or junk food diet. So that will give an idea to assess the nutritional status of particular community. Then weighment method. In weighment method, we are checking a weight. Now here that will help us to identify a food survey method. Now here in weighment method, we are actually taking a right weight of the particular food item what you are going to prepare. Before it cooked, that weight measurement has been done. Now here to do this, we need a high cooperation of housewives or someone who is really cooking, because they get really irritated when you interrupt their cooking job. Now here, with the help of with their support, we are actually weighing how much weight is required, how much quantity of how much weight of that food particles are required to prepare your food item. So that will be calculated as per your ICMR calculation. You're calculating the basic nutrition requirement and you are calculating, weighing that much amount of food materials, then that is sold to prepare the food item that will be used for cooking. Now this is done both morning and evening. So this survey will help us to identify whether we are able to provide a good nutritious food or not. So these are the important diet survey methods. In that we are having a food inventory method, food expenditure for pattern of month, and diet history and weighment method. So this is altogether nutritional assessment. Direct method, indirect method. Direct method is nutritional anthropometry, in that height, weight, head circumference, chest circumference, mid upper arm circumference is calculated. Clinical examination, clinical evaluation method, in that we are checking for the different signs and symptoms which are related to particular nutrition deficiency disorders. Then biophysical method, for example, you are checking the BP, or we are checking the checking the eyesight. We are asking to differentiate the things in a dim light, which help us to assess whether able to they see or not. Biochemical test, in that we are doing certain blood examination, stool examination, urine examination, that help us to find out the certain values. Now, indirect method, in indirect method, vital statistics of particular community, death rate, disease rate, that will help us to rule out what is the neutral status of that particular community. Then assessment of socio-economic status, how well they are, how rich they are, how poor they are, that help us to identify how good food they can serve to their family. That can be ruled out. Then third is diet survey. In diet survey, we are using food inventory method, food expenditure pattern method, diet history, and weighment method. I hope you understood. You can expect question on this. Please keep reading and keep watching. Thank you all.